Hi, welcome to Decisions of Human Resource Management Selection. This is one of the top aspect of human resource management because this is the one where we build the talented pool in the organization. This is one of the important because if the selection process is good, then the rest of the things in the organization can be very appropriate. If selection has little bit drawback, if not proper selection, then this can affect on the performance of the company. Let's learn from this way. If you control the entry, if you control the door, you just let people in your company, those who are more committed, those who are most suitable, those who are most complying with the policies of the company, then everything can move in the right direction. So I'm saying in this particular point, so we have a control which people should be allowed to enter in your company. So when I'm saying which people should be allowed to enter, so people should be properly selected for your company. And this can only be possible when you have very comprehensive, detailed, focused selection process. If there are any top companies which are top today, they are only top because of their selection processes, because they know which person is a promising person and which person is the one who can contribute something special in your company. So that all depends on the selection process. All of the top companies, Microsoft, IBM, Marlboro, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, they do have such good selection process, and they ensure that the entry is properly controlled and managed for the most suitable people to come in and join their top companies. That is about the decisions of human resource management, and that's what we are going to learn in this particular session. If we just look at the slide, which you see recruitment and selection, productive HR strategies. These are some of the strategies which are very productive, very focused, very much required in the modern companies. How do you do that? What we do? We try to identify the issues that may arise when attracting talented employees. Now we see that what other good companies are doing, that the good people are joining them. Why they are not joining my company? Why they are not joining from company A? Why they are not joining company B? Why they are joining? Why they are not joining those particular companies? How do we identify that? The issue has been arising when we got to attract the talented employees. This is a job of human resource management to keep a track of the current hiring, recruitment, and selection trends going around. I mean, there should be companies keep a track of some of the top companies. What do they offer to the employees who really join them? So when we talk about identify the issues that may arise when we attract people, there might be different issues. It could be a salary issue, it could be perks, it could be company environment, it could be corporate culture, it might be many other reasons. But the things which we have to focus on, if we see that we want to hire a network specialist, for example. So we understand the network specialist in this vicinity, in this region, or in this country might have this value, might have this average salary, might have these skills, might have this experience, how many half a dozen implementations he has done, what he has done, what she has done. So we try to identify that thing. The issue is arising that we don't see these things and we fail in attracting the talented employees to our company. This shows that we don't offer the right thing to the employees, and that could be the reason that we cannot attract good people to our company. Other reason could be that our salary is not attractive or compatible with the competitors in the same area, in the same region, the same country. That could be the reason. So we actually fail to attract talent employees because of various reasons. The human resource department or the recruitment and selection process should be based on these things which I have said. So you have something in your mind that you need top talented person, you gotta hire, you gotta hire. There's no other option because that person is gonna give the best business or that person is going to perform 100%. For that reason, we have to control any kind of issue that is arising at that time, which is which will be helpful to attract the talented employees. What we should do for that. So this is the first thing. The second thing, if you see, that is about how to identify the best practice of hiring the right people. The best practice of hiring the right people is to see what are the plans of your company. Are you hiring a person for short term? Are you hiring a person for long term? Are you hiring a person to just to complete the task about the plan you do have 5 years? Or you want a person and you want to invest into that person for long term to go along with you? Do you have something special to offer a career development to those people? Or you don't have any career development, you want to have part time just to get things done for a shorter time? What are the best practice of hiring the right people? The best practice of hiring the right people is to identify the right person, is to identify the right employment which you want to offer to them so that they can come and fill that gap and let them do. Let them come up with the ideas to help you. Let them perform the job. Let them give an opportunity. Let them get an opportunity for you for the things that they can offer to you. These are the best practices. If the top company's best practice of hiring is like not wasting too much time on just recruitment, interviewing, and all that. Identify the right person, list down the job descriptions, list down the specification that these people can perform these particular jobs. And then look at your company. I'm not saying that your company can't afford, but still you need to a highly paid employee. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you have to see the rationality of your company. What is the rationality? What company can offer? What a company can offer within the financial constraints you do have. What your company can offer better things to them. Why? How? If you consider these things will help us to actually hire the right person. And quite a few other best practices are the perks, the facilities. For example, if you want to hire a person in the most diverse environment or the city you're operating, let's suppose you're operating in New York or London or Sao Paulo or any other country with the most diversified, talented employees around. So you have to see what other companies are offering. But if you're hiring a person, the decentralized center in other countries with their region, you can hire the person who's available over there. But the best practices is not just interview. Best practices or the constraints of your company, plans of your company, your strategies of your company, what kind of person you hire, who is the right person. But if you think that you want to hire right person and later on you again can hire the right person, later on again, furthermore you can hire the right person. So this is something that you're hiring people not for the purpose of investing something in those people, but you're just hiring to comply with the short-term employment activities. And that is not going to help the company. That's not the productive HR strategy. So the decision of recruitment for hiring the right person will come that way. And this is continuous, ongoing process of evaluating employees, future employees, current employees who will be retiring next year, whom people who you think that they've been discussing and they have some attitude to leave your company. So keep a proper track on that. So human resource job is not only just to keep the profiles of the people, but always identify the best practice of hiring the right people. And that has become difficult for some of the companies. I would like to present one example here. If you hire a highly paid person in your company, you invested much money to hire that person, you're paying good, and then you're not giving that opportunity to that person, that person might leave because she feels that they can use their talent in some other companies who they provide opportunities to those people. So if you're not giving them little room, if you're not giving them an opportunity, if you're not utilizing their talent, they might go somewhere else to utilize their talent. So how do you ensure that you make that talented person stay in your company? An opportunity. How this is possible when you say that I need a right person, but then you don't provide the right opportunity? So the right person will turn to be not right because he doesn't get an opportunity. So he will go and utilize his efficiency or his talent in another company. These are very minute things, but are the most important things in identifying the best practices in the organization. If you come down, see point number 3, over there you will see select the best match of your organization. This I've been covering in the first point as well, that we have to select the best match of our organization. And what is the best match? Best match is that the position which I have created, I have future plans of that position aligned with the organizational strategy of 5 years, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever the case may be. But that's properly aligned, properly matched, that I will utilize that person. Once I have achieved the business goal I had in my mind before hiring that person, and that person which I've hired, he had given that goal achievement, that's okay if he later leaves. I don't care because I have achieved the business. I have achieved the target which I planned to that hired person because I specifically matched the talent of that person, the skills of that person, abilities of that person. I utilize that person in my company. So you have to select the best match of your company. So the best match is the talented, but it's aligned with organizational strategy, and you have proper identification of those goals that you will achieve. And then you have to keep a track of those goals in the first year, second year, third year. You see that goals are being achieved, not achieved. You are in conversation with that person. You providing the required training, providing the required tools to get that person equipped to complete that one. So you're following that person. You're tracking that person, not disturbing that person. I'm not saying not interfering with that person, just providing the suitable tools, required tools, so that that person can be more effective in the performance. Because you know you have the ultimate goal in your mind to utilize that person to achieve the things which you're looking for. So that's it. That is the point. Select the best match of your organization. And the number four is about hire the person for the job who needs a job, and you need that person. This is a point which I really like, and this is one of my favorite point. Means you need an excited person, very enthusiastic person, having loads of enthusiasm. That person really want to do something in your company. Do you remember we in the interview always ask people that what do you want to do? What do you think that we should hire you? And the people start explaining because your company is good or your company provides an opportunity. Many things people say in general things. But have you noticed that some of the people say that, look, this is the skill I do have, and I have utilized this skill at one company. Now I have added some of the more abilities in the same skill. I learned more things. I want to utilize that in your company because I think it's going to be an opportunity for me to utilize that thing. And for that reason, then I'll be thinking, oh, that's a great thing. You know that the task, the job that best match with your organizational goals, and you are trying to fill that gap with the person who's really excited, who's really the person who needs that job. I mean, he's not talking about money. He's not talking about the perks, but he's talking about the task, the particular task which he or she want to perform in the organization. For that reason, human resource department can go extra mile to find that person. It might take a little time of finding the right person who needs a job, who's enthusiastic about a company. It might take some time, but if you really have got the same person that you're looking for, such person you're looking for, then I think you will be able to achieve the goals that you have in your mind. Now, normally we miss out these things in most of the cases. And that's not as advisable that you're trying to wrap up everything so quickly because you want to conclude the recruitment process. There's so much competition. If he's not available, we take another one. We want to fill the gap and everything. That's not really helping. Then you won't be able to find the right person. If you want to wrap up this so quickly, if you really want to wind up so quickly that you want to hire somebody, it's okay, that person will also be just trying to wind up everything to get a job, and later on he keep applying because he doesn't have thing in his mind. He just want to complete the task that you ask him. We need the enthusiastic people. We need the people, especially the job there. That's what we talk about. This is specialist age. The people are really special. I mean, sometimes we need journalist people, but I'm talking about if you're really looking for some specialist people, you always try to find those things. So we identified the issues, we identified the best practices, and we decided the best match with the person who really looking for, and he's such an ambitious driven person to join your company. That is the best thing. And then if you see what I have written more into that, the general perception is that organizations have a choice between make, using development and internal labor market, or buy from external labor. Now this is something really special again, and this is the vision of the managers who are in the top, and they have proper collaboration with the middle hierarchy managers, especially the human resource managers, to identify that either we can afford to hire a person from outside labor market, or we have a time, or we have this intention to invest in somebody who is currently working in the company. We can train that person, we can help that person, and we can utilize that person to prepare that person to be the person that I am wishing to hire. This is general perception, and some companies are really good one into that one. How many companies you have seen that they've been working? The Google CEO from within, given much opportunity, learn many things, having so much collaboration with the employees, taken the position, performed better. Sometimes you have to find lies. Sometimes you have to check. I always give an example in the classes that if you're really not interested to hire people from outside labor market, no problem. No problem at all. Then you have to play a role to identify the gems, the talented slot, the excited people who are waiting for any opportunity to be given, and then they can perform better. So just go around in each department, meet people individually, see the performance appraisal of those people, see their professional and the graceful attitude to the new projects they are launching. Look their look their attitude that they want to do something special. If you find something like that, you gotta choose those people, invest in them, help them, provide them tools, talk to them, and I'm sure these people can turn to be the most enthusiastic people that you're looking for in your company. And without paying that too much, without investing too much time, without utilizing too much time and spending much time in interview process and everything, you got a person from within. And there are many companies do that. And if organizations want to invest in employees or just to complete the required task for a short time, it's debatable, but building intellectual capital is a better option. So when you are taking people from within, then you're building actually great intellectual capital. They're having some people with a great knowledge. That is why the important aspects of hiring the right person is possible. So recruitment and selection is one of the important aspects. Let me take you to the next slide. We continue that recruitment and selection. Now, all of the activities are undertaken to fill a position that we talk about. Recruitment is an announcement of the job to identify the right applicant, while selection is the process of selecting the best applicant who's the right fit for an organization as per the position. Now, here we need that we should be very much clear in the recruitment. Nowadays, if you are in London or you are in New York or you are in any other country, diversified country, you announce one job, there are many people apply that. I understand you can filter them very quickly through AI, through the customized softwares you do have, but people apply. How can we control that one? We can control with the information that we give in the recruitment. There are still many companies I have seen. They make the same mistake. They just write generalized things and everybody applying, and difficult for the HR managers to filter, to evaluate the applications, to appraise those applications, to bring the top ones they're looking for. But in recruitment, what experience you need, what person you need, what skills you need. Give a little bit information about the job posting, which you're giving, what kind of person you're looking for. And mention over there that if I need a person for 5-year planning, I need 5-year planning. You need that I want to invest into that person. You just mention about that. You want to invest into that person. Don't worry about that. Let people apply that. This thing will definitely help the human resources department because you identify the recruitment thing, and that will help you in the selection process. So all of the activities which are there, that should be properly managed and properly informed. And if you see the second point, you can see good recruitment system provides the basis of organizational commitment and employment relationships. That's a great thing. Some companies make mistakes over there that they're not clear about the recruitment. They just announce, and then it shows that you're so casual over there, and you see that how much committed you are with your organization, because the recruitment, the advertisement is not clear what kind of person you're looking for. Rebels, you say, oh, that advertisement is very good. You applied, you got response from them, positive or negative, we're not talking about, but you get the proper response. There are some of the companies, unfortunately, people apply, they get auto-generated answers for that, and they're really not encouraging one. But if you really want to have good relationship with the people who have not even joined you, or not your employees even, but you can have proper relationship by writing a very good email to them, a rejection or acceptance, whatever. But that really helps people to build good relationships with you. And people who are within, they're also given the organization, given the opportunity in the organization to apply if they want to apply. This must be a careful process, maintain a fairness in some form of discrimination that may be against law as a direct, indirect harassment or victimization. So we always see that what you're talking about, So we always see that the language we have written or the requirements which we have written, they are not indicating any kind of aspect that may relate to harassment or victimization. So you got to be very careful into that. People are very sensitive around the world. And you as an HR department, some people might be casual, but the HR department, impossible. That should not be casual. They should have 100% focus. What is the requirement? So when we say about that, how we should start this recruitment selection is actually the process of human resource management. And that is something about if we start from need for employment. When you say need for employment, means how many employees you need. You need two employees? You need four employees? If you need two employees, you need two employees. You can't make it that because you can't afford, you just had employed only one person. That is not organizational commitment. That will not have good relationship with the employees. Because either that person will get more burden, pressure, or that burden pressure might be shared with other people as well. Extra, which is not logical. But the logical is think that if you need two people, you need two people. So that's a need for employment. You identify what you're going to do. And then later on, you start the recruitment selection process. So if you want to have proper recruitment, as we have talked about, then you go with the selection process, which involves interviewing and checking references, some examinations, profiles, and any requirement from the organization. You can go ahead with the rest of the things. So that selection will happen. But with the second HR process function, which I've talked about, I talked first need for employment. Now I talked about recruitment selection. Within these, there are some of the functions which you have to plan ahead of selection. For example, uh, compensation benefits, performance appraisals, how you will evaluate employees. You have to tell them in the selection process. When you explaining everything, the policy and the plans, you're very transparent in the selection process. The person who's sitting in front of you is much comfortable and very happy to listen that. Don't leave anything in dark or something. I wonder, I have visited loads of countries, I worked in loads of companies, and even in my international consultancy I have checked. Some of the companies, they promise a lot in the interview just to attract that person that he should join, and later on they back off. This is one of the worst thing in the employment relationship, or expecting organizational commitment from employees. No, no, no. It's never gonna be like that. Because the things which you spoke in the interview, things which you said in the interview, and the person took it seriously and he joined your company. While he saw that he's not getting what he been promised, and he saw some of the things totally opposite what he had been discussing in the interview. The highest level of the commitment of that employee will begin to decline and will never build a good employment relationship with that person because he knows the company was playing, and that thing will give such a bad impression on that employee, and he will remember forever in his or her life. So we have to be, we got to be very careful, we got to be very cautious in these important things. And unfortunately, I've mentioned in this experience, some companies do that. But some companies are really good. They never do these things. They just say the transparent, good things, open things, and explain everything. They are ready to hire. They give you all information. Then you decide either those things gonna be appropriate for you or not. And then you take decision about joining or not joining. So very, and you'll be happy when the company is very transparent in the discussions. You'll be very happy to join the company because you know that they have been very transparent. You're very clear. So every clarity you do have, you join, you enjoy your job, have very good commitment because you already know you accepted the things that you accepted in the interview, and you start building good relationship with them, and people start talking about you. That's, oh, that person is really professional, very good. And this all happened because our proper recruitment selection initiatives, the proper selection process that we maintain in the organization. People love, I mean, these days, when an interviewee walks into your room and then he had a great experience, then he walks out. That's one of the best things, you know. So that's the recruitment things that really help you about organizational commitment. And as I said, that this must be careful. It should be maintain a careful process about the things you're talking to, the questions you're talking to, and other things. This will really help into that. Let me take you to the next slide and how does it work about the interview processes. Now, recruitment selection here, how to shortlist the CVs and how interview should be conducted. This process really sometimes it becomes very technical. And another example I want to share with you. Unfortunately, I mean, come on, some of the organizations they're having interviews since morning to evening because so many people applied, and you could not decide which CV is better, which person should be asked. So you invited 10 people for the interview. And I've seen you go in with the interview one person, second person, third person, and when we reach the fourth, fifth person, you're so tired, you're wrapping up, we're closing up, and then you try, okay, send that person. How many left? Five is still more waiting. Okay, hurry up, ask a couple questions. What's going on? That thing is much disturbing. That's not professional. I'm not talking about that the top good companies do that, but there are many companies do that because they didn't have proper planning. So how you shortlist, which people you're inviting, how you conducting the interview, it's really important things. An interview panel must do some homework of that one. Of course, everybody does that. You got a proper criteria, you got proper explanations, you have proper standards, your proper yardstick you do have. How do you evaluate you? How many people in the interview panel? Who's the psychologist? Who's the one who will start that? Who's the one who will ask technical questions, who will ask practical questions, who will ask job related questions, who will ask general questions? All of those things will happen when interview panel has some proper work. But if you have not done that proper work, it means you are discouraging the employee who has come to you, and you're going to give the bad impression to those people. And the same person will become a word of mouth when he goes out and says, that company, oh my God, the non-professional interview experience I had with this company. But if you have prepared this, and you're so clarity you do have, That person who's being interviewed, he will have a proper word of mouth when you go. He spread the positivity about your company, and then he always wish that I should come and join your company because I had the best experience talking to those people in it. So that is the interview. A panel must do some homework while talking to them. And then the important thing, the interview panel must be expert in particular field. Another unfortunate, it's really sometimes I feel it's funny that in some of the companies there are interview panel five people, maybe three of them not related with that interview. So they just say, because we want to have a good panel, somebody's not available, so you come and join that and you ask some general questions. No, 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 this is not good. You have to find the expert people, in that expert panel should be there, because somebody who's walking to be interviewed in your company, that person has so much desire, so many wishes, expectations, and then when they reach, then there's no expert panel. And if there's no expert panel, how you judge the people? An expert person can judge the proper expertise. If you put a general person, how that person will judge that person? So this is another critical thing which we have to find, which we have to see, that it's required or it's not required. So the interview panel must be expert in the particular fields for that. And then interview panel should be attentive to the applicant. That's no question, of course, they got to be very attentive. But if you little miss out, if for example somebody got a quick break outside and he joined late, you started the interview, because you all have the criteria. I want to put one example here, very important example. If there are five people in the panel and they interview the first person, all those five, when the second candidate came, there are four people in the panel. How do you evaluate the first person and the second person amongst these two panels? The one was a five, the other one is four. There might be little disparity over there, because we can't afford to be little deviant from the applicant's choices. It might possible, so five people recommended, and out of those four people, one did not recommend, where the fifth one would have recommended. Could be an issue. So if you are conducting interview, you have five people in the panel, should always be five people in the panel for all of the candidates they have applied. All the candidates you are having discussion with. That is the thing, that interview attention is required. And if we're not doing that one, we're not having proper interview with those people. An interview panel should encourage the applicant. Of course, when you attentive, you encouraging them, encourage them. I mean, look, if there is an interview for the armed forces, you want to put a discussion, you want to know the person, it's okay. But when you're having interviews, some of the interview panels, they just enter into a discussion. They say, oh no, this is not right. Let me tell you what's right. No, you have to listen. You have to be attentive. You have to be encouraging to the applicant. Because I have seen some of the applicant, they start and they are not confident. But the moment they start talking, slowly, gradually, they maneuver the situation and they become good. They control and they turn to be the best answers. So you don't judge people in starting what they're talking about. It might possible while they get the rhythm, they might be turning to the good answers you can expect from them. And that's very much likely to see that. So that interview panelists should be encouraged, uh, uh, should encourage all of the applicants. The applicants should be encouraged by those interview panels. And interview should be focused on job description and specification. That's what you're looking for. That's what you're looking for. You ask questions related to that. Don't ask any question which might not be related to them. And by the way, you got to be very expert. You got to be very attentive. You got to be very cautious in asking the questions. That should be well structured, polite way. Must avoid any kind of pertinency of political or religious or racist or anything like that. You avoid that. Gotta be very careful when you ask questions. In terms of personal questions, in terms of professional questions, in terms of political questions. So you gotta be very careful in these old things. like I've worked in North America a lot as well, so I know over there you can, in the interviews you can ask personal questions about the boyfriend or girlfriend. It's easy, you can ask that if it's related with the, for example, if you ask somebody how that person should be busy, will be come in the early of morning, or married person, not married person, if the person is independent, how relationship they manage, how they make it. It's easy, we can ask them. But in some countries, especially some of the countries over there in Middle East or maybe other countries, when you ask such questions, we got to be very careful that either this question will be taken as personal or professional, or it's a logical question, or it's ethical question or not. That one. But there is a slight different. There's a tactic how to ask personal questions. So, for example, if you directly don't ask person, are you married or something? You can ask that person indirectly. You can ask, so what are your commitments? So what you do in the morning when you come? You come directly to the office or you go somewhere? Then the person interview will open up, and he or she will say, no, in the morning I come, I drop my kids and then come directly. Or some person, people will say, no, no, I directly come to the office because I'm single. So that's really important one, that how much work HR people should do. They should do some proper homework before the interviews. And these are the logical interviews. If you're really looking for somebody who's the right person for you, a good person for you, you want to see the commitment of that person. You want to build a good relationship, a proper rapport with that person. Then we have to go through these all things in the interview. Interview is a serious thing. And that's why because we're talking about the decision making, a selection of the human resource management. So all of our decisions, especially in the selection process, are really crucial ones, which we have to learn, we have to apply, we got to be very cautious, we got to be very transparent, and most importantly, we got to maintain the best relationship with the employees, with the panel, with the people, with the interviewees, and with the future prospects for our company. You might have seen loads of interview things. I might post one interview a video that you will see that in this lesson. That's about that how to be interviewed. This we have talked about from the organizational perspective. But those all of my uh, learners in this session, they also might want to know how they should prepare for interview. So that's one of the video maybe I'll upload for you, that you will learn that how do you walk into the interview, how do you see yourself as an interviewee, and how you perform in the interview. And I always say that people say the 70% interview is done the moment you enter from your door and you sit on the seat, because that's a graceful how professional you look for, how much confident you are, and how you properly you say, hey, good morning, buongiorno, whatever you say, how confidence you do have. Good morning, you say, oh, hi, all right, how are you doing? The way you present yourself, all of these things are really important one. And there are various aspects you might have observed in your life that interview is something that you want to impress people, but mostly you can impress people with the work you express at that time. One of the things which I really like is that when you ask this, when interview panel asks this question, that why do we should hire you, what you can help us. So at that time is a great opportunity for the interviewee to tell them what you can do for that company. Say that I have this thing, I have heard about your company, I launched this product, I will be launching this product in your company, I'm launching this strategy in your company, I have already worked on this one. Show the evidence over there. Tell people that I had this a million return or something on this initiative which I took, or the best possible project which I will give you that'll bring loads of investment into that. Or I will train people. I will all set all financial department. All I will develop your organization. I got loads of experience in consultancy at this thing. So at that time you have to give the best impression that you can help the organization. Do not exaggerate things, but always say some of the things which are rational, which are logical, and which are relevant to that company where you are being interviewed. Then that panel will say, oh, that's a great thing. They will take it serious. And there are many other things about your strength and weaknesses and all that. These are some journal questions most of the panel people say. All of the time, do not say weaknesses that has a relation with your company. Sometimes it happen the weaknesses but try to be very smart in explaining weaknesses, and say weaknesses that has no impact on the productivity. And always say the strength. What are your strength? Always say strength that has relevance with the work you do. So you're confident about the work you do have, the relationship of the work you do have. So that will help you. That will create lots of good things, for that reason. Because if you say that my strength is that I'm the great manager, I manage people very effectively, I utilize their skills, I'm a people person, I can carry myself with all of those people in the most professional way. And then they will ask you what you have done in your previous company, and then you say, I did this previous company. You can take a reference from them. I was good in that way. And because of that, I utilized people. I brought this change management strategy in that company where I motivated 500 people or 100 people or 50 people. And we launched this change management process and we were successful into that one. Wow. Those things you can tell them. And these things are always good because positive things. You got to convince them. You just tell some of the things that you have such expertise that that company can be dependent on you. You're such enthusiastic person. You know the way I started about this session, I told you that you want to hire enthusiastic people. So you gotta show some enthusiasm to them that you're really looking for. You are the right person. They should not look to other people. They say, "Oh, this is the person I look for." I understand the money part comes when people negotiate and everything. You negotiate that, but that depends. If you're so much experience, you can negotiate. But if you think the company is very good and they offer you little, lesser than your expectations, but still you feel that you can take up that job, and you say that I will work and then I will show good performance, and then later on they will give you raise and promotions and more bucks, then you'll be in the club of those rewarded people club in the company, winners club. You will be there. That will help you. So this thing on the slide which we have talked about, that recruitment selection is one of the decision of human resource management which needs a lot of work, which needs loads of focus, which needs loads of collaboration, which needs loads of planning, and all of those things which you do is finding the right enthusiastic person for your company who can perform the job which you have aligned with your organizational strategy. That is the right person you're looking for. And that is the person deserves to be in your organization. So that's the most important decision of human resource management. That's why I said in the earlier part of this session that if you control the entry, it means you hire the person that really deserves, the really proper fit, justifiable fit of your company, then he'll give you good business. And then you will also not be hesitant to invest more into that person, because the more business that employee brings to the organization, the more organization is ready to invest into the person. And that is the general practice of human resource department, especially at top companies. This is what I was talking about, the interview skills for candidates and HR department, which we have talked about. So this video will help you about how to be interviewed, some of the things which I will put over there. Um, but if but if you want to be interviewed, you got to be more enthusiastic. So what I'm saying is that the enthusiasm which you do have for the job, and the human resource department who have defined enthusiasm in their own objective. So if you kind of match with that, so you have to be graceful. I mean, one of the things that you want to be interviewed is that you show such a positive attitude, such a graceful attitude, Say all positive things to them. Say all the professional things to them. Say all of the right things to them. Work a little bit about that company as well. So all of those things, you present yourself the way they're looking for. I think it's going to be a proper match in the organization. And within this, I would like to conclude that the most important decision of any organization is the proper selection that we have talked about today. And that's why I always say, be a smart HR professional. And you can be a good and smart HR professional when you know and when you learn the decisions of human resource management, as you have learned one decision in today's session. Great. So congratulations. So far you have completed the fourth one, that was about decisions of HRM, with a special reference to selection we have talked about. I hope you have enjoyed this session, and I look forward to see you soon in the next session. That is going to be employees performance and appraisal. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon.